All right, here we go again, y'all. We are back. Paranormal WatchTower. You've been waiting since last week. We're back. It is 8 o'clock Wednesday night. Well, for you guys. Anyway, we have a pretty exciting show for you. We not quite as exciting as having Father V like we were on last week. So if you're here looking for that, go look at the last episode. That was episode 15. This is our Sweet 16 episode. Ray, how you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm doing great. Number 16.
16. Sweet
Yeah.
16.
How you been?
Sweet 16. Not too bad. Been trying to keep myself busy. I've been cleaning a lot, dude. I don't a lot. Like, what did I do today? I put a big couch in the back of my what do they call that? I'll call it the napper van. And I'm gonna be loading up a bunch of garbage to take tomorrow to the dump. But scrubbed the stairs, swept and scrubbed the living room floor, rearranged the living room, all sorts of stuff.
Get the van going. Get the van
Yes.
started.
Yep. Put my jumper on it and it fired right up. No problem at all.
So they were jumping it wrong.
Yeah, they didn't know how to jump a vehicle, which I told them they didn't know how. Or they used crappy cables. One of the two. Still, but I don't know.
At least it didn't cost you a new battery.
Right? Yeah, saved me about 100 some bucks probably.
Yeah.
But I got some I know. I got some pretty interesting stuff for tonight that I picked up. I actually did a little searching online and found some interesting conspiracies that I didn't even know about. Like I didn't even know they were a thing. And
Really? Well, that would be interesting.
yeah. I got like they had 30 of them. I didn't jot down all 30, but there was quite a few, and some of them might even shock you. I don't know if you've even heard of some of these, but anyways, we can get to. You want to do that right away, or do you want to jump around a little bit?
We can do whatever you want on Sweet 16 night.
Sweet 16. Oh, are you gonna give me a present for my Sweet 16?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I want to know what it is. I think I'm intimidated a little bit.
Wait and find out.
Wait and find out. So, all right. Well, let's just jump right in then. All right. So, all right. For instance, and I'm going to save some because I am going to do the TikTok video on the top 10, but I suppose I can tell you what they are anyway. So we'll start with the later ones. Okay. Some of these I heard of, and I can't believe that they're even a conspiracy. I just thought it was a thing. All right. For 29, the COVID-19 vaccine has a 5G chip inside of it.
I heard that so much during COVID.
Oh, did you? What did they think it was, like a tracking device or something?
That's exactly in mind control.
Well, I mean, it doesn't sound that far stretched. The next thing you're going to tell me is it's alien technology.
I'm going to tell you there's probably no, you know how tiny that would have to be, and we don't have that kind of technology. So if there is a tracking chip inside the vaccine, it definitely would have to be alien.
Well, it says here that was actually, they did a test and they found a chip in it. Somebody found a chip. They even the theorist even began circulating that supposedly a diagram of the chip was made, which ended up being the electric circuit of a guitar pedal. So that was disproven. Notice I didn't say the other word.
God, you know how small that device would have to be to get through a little tiny syringe?
The abominable snowman lives in Asia. Okay.
All right. I mean, maybe.
Now this one I believe. Airplane exhaust trails are filled with chemicals. I actually believe this one. I believe the government is doing that, And the reason is I think they're doing health, like tests on healthcare, on health, and what does what, because it seems to me like, and I might not be wrong, might not be correct, but it seems to me that different areas of the country are affected. Like this area gets cancer, this area gets brain tumors, this area gets heart attacks. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of segregated as far as illnesses throughout the country.
You think the government's doing it?
I think they are. Well, why else would they have chemtrails? Like, what's the point of chemtrails if not for that? Is it for entertainment purposes? You know,
I mean,
I mean, why would they be? Why would planes be doing that?
they
There's no other explanation that I can come up with.
they use I don't remember if it's barium. They use something to help with mapping, and then they also do cloud seeding, which I think is like silver particles, if I remember right.
For the purpose of what?
To make rain, clouds. I guess they already got clouds to make rain.
To make rain.
Yeah, didn't you see what happened in Saudi Arabia? Oh,
But why do they have chemtrails like here in like
I'd
places that
say
aren't in a drought?
90% of it is just contrails over chemtrails.
Hmm. Anyway, that's that one.
Yeah, that one's been around a while.
Yeah, and then apparently this one's kind of controversial. It says that Queen Elizabeth was a man.
Oh, I thought you were going to say eats babies, and I was going to agree, but
Oh yeah,
I
no,
don't
no.
know about her being a man. I've never heard that one before.
Uh Queen Elizabeth the First.
I don't know who that is. Which one just
It's
passed?
I'm not sure. Um oh, mm, she died as a child. Oh, so this must have been
Oh,
a
this is
while
some
ago.
old ass conspiracy then.
To prevent the end of the royal line was replaced with a young boy. What this theory said to explain why the ruler remained chaste? Chaste.
Chest.
Chase? Chast? Oh, chast throughout her reign. Okay, I get it now. So basically, so I don't know if Queen Elizabeth the First was the last one or if it's just one from the past. I don't know enough about it. Moving on. This one is another one I actually believe. Sirens, another name for uh mermaids.
You think
Um,
sirens and mermaids are the same thing?
well, to, I believe that sirens are mermaids, but not all mermaids are sirens. Okay, but we
Oh,
can get into that some other time. So sirens were responsible for shipwrecks. I absolutely believe this, and I've been told by psychics and mediums more than once that my fascination for mermaids spawns from me saving them as a sailor in a previous life. I don't know.
you saved some mermaids.
Apparently so.
But don't the sirens like try to lure you to your death
Yes, yes.
and you save them?
Sailors have claimed apparently. Well, I don't know if it was sirens or just peaceful mermaids, but
We need
either
to find
way,
out.
I know. Well, it's a past life regression. Here I come. Um,
Oh, we should definitely do that. You want to get hypnotized for the podcast?
uh, I have a hard time with you recording shit that I do want you to have,
I
much
won't be
less.
there. It'll be whoever you're doing the
Oh,
hypnosis with. You just
yeah,
record it
but
yourself and send me what you like. Like, if
okay,
there's anything
no,
too personal, you can cut it out before I get it
yeah,
because
yeah.
I'll put that shit on the
Yeah,
bloopers.
oh yeah, that'll be the go-to.
If you
But
do it, I'll do it. How about that?
oh yeah. Well, we'll have to talk about it.
All
That's
right.
tempting. I might. I might. Um it says that these sirens would lure them sailors to the rocks and cause shipwrecks back in the day. I think they did. You always heard about the siren song and it's supposed to be so beautiful and alluring. Um Solar flare caused the Titanic to sink. That's
Hold
another
on,
one.
let's go back to the siren song. Do you think there's any like recordings of this noise?
I don't know. We could probably look it up. There's probably something,
I'm
or
gonna do
somebody
that
made
because
something.
I'd be curious what that sounds like. I've never
Hmm.
been, on a boat or the ocean, so I've definitely never heard the siren.
Well, being a man, I would assume that was some sort of. It sounds like some sort of seduction. You know what I mean?
I was
So,
thinking that in my head, what if it's just some kind of succubus
oh, could be. Good point. Could be. Could be. Let's skip over that one. Apparently, the Loch Ness monster is a conspiracy theory. Uh,
Yeah, I
uh,
suppose. I'd call it more just crypto, but
oh, and then there's another one that says Amelia Earhart. You know who she is, right?
from the great state of Kansas.
Amelia Earhart was eaten by crabs. Apparently,
I've
because
heard that.
oh,
I
you've
heard
heard
that.
that one.
Yeah,
I
she
had never
landed
heard that
on
one
some
before.
island that
Three
had like
foot
a
crabs.
billion crab. Yeah, they're huge.
3 foot crabs.
I want to say like they made a documentary about it, maybe Discovery Channel or something. It's pretty interesting. You should check it out.
Hmm. Well, I need a little more to go off of than just. I think there's a documentary. Go check it out.
I know I've watched the documentary on the 3 foot crabs thing. I just don't remember what show it
Okay.
was, but I remember seeing that. That's interesting.
Hmm.
Apparently, there are 3 foot crabs out there.
Okay. So apparently, Bill Gates is making fake snow.
All right.
Apparently, this actually started on TikTok, and it stoked the fires at Bill Gates' conspiracy theory that he created fake snow that burns instead of melts.
I think I've seen that.
Yeah,
That's been a few years.
yeah, I don't know.
I don't know much about it, but I think we should figure this out.
Well, the next time it snows here, I will try to light it on fire.
I'll do the same. Did it say why he's trying to create fake snow? Is it like a global warming thing or something?
It didn't say why. No, it didn't say why. So, there's weird ones. Zombies can rise from the dead. Yeah, yeah. Well,
I mean,
duh.
that's the whole point of a zombie.
I mean, yeah. I mean, why else would you put they put the stones on top of the casket? To try to keep it from opening up. Oh, this is one of my favorite ones actually. The whole Apollo 17
Which
theory.
one is this one?
The Apollo 17 theory is the one where they went up to the moon. I think it was in 70. Ooh, hang on, let me see if it says 72, 1972. And that was the last time that we went to the moon, allegedly. And
What do you mean allegedly?
you know exactly what I mean by allegedly. And well, because there's the Apollo 18, and the movie came out for Apollo 18 and made everybody think that there's the reason that we stopped going was because of the aliens. That they had a bad encounter with aliens on the moon, which is basically why we never went back.
I ain't gonna lie, man. I got into that for a little bit
I'm
with
still
like
into it.
the buildings and shit on the moon, the structures.
I'm still into it. I'm still on board with it right now. Um, let's see. It claims that uh conspiracy theories believe that Apollo 18, there actually was an Apollo 18, but it was super secret and
And
kept
that's the
under
one that
wraps.
recorded all the alien stuff.
Well, no. Well, according to like real life, and NASA, they never had an Apollo 18. They just made the movie Apollo 18 because of what they speculate happened on the 17, if that makes sense. So they went up in
I've never seen it.
72.
I'm gonna have to watch it.
Yeah, they went up in 72, and people think that they gave everybody the reason that they stopped was because they had all the research that they needed, and the funding wasn't there to go up again. But I call bullshit on that. Something else is going on. you
And
know
it was alien.
I think it might have been. I think something slapped him in the wrist and said, "Get out of here. You don't belong here." That's what I think happened.
Well, how do you think they feel about us coming back to the moon here in a few years?
Well, by now they got some sort of ray gun that knows how to kill them in case they start acting a fool. And I think they've got enough alien technology that they know how to weaponize it and defend themselves. So when they do go up there, they are protected.
You think
That's what
there's
I
going to
think.
be a war on the moon?
Very well could be.
That make for a good movie.
That would. Oh, another one we got a patent.
Copyrighted.
Copyright it. Yep.
Done.
Yeah. So it says that the Titanic didn't actually sink, which, we all know that he had other boats, and apparently it was a different boat, the Olympic, that actually sank, which isn't, who gives a shit? I mean, who cares? One of this, either, no matter what, a boat sunk and 1,500 people died. I don't care what the
Right.
name on the boat said,
Like, I think I
you
get
know?
more into the side of the people that passed away on the boat. And then the one guy was at JP Morgan that ended up not
Oh,
getting on the boat.
yeah. I wonder why he didn't get on
And
the
it was
boat,
like
but
all his
all,
competitors on there.
all his competitors were on there. You betcha. Yeah. He knew what he was doing.
Yeah,
He
so
knew.
that one to me is something we should dig into.
All right. Let's see. The moon isn't real. Number 13 on Esquire's webpage. The moon isn't real. That's right. Some people think the moon doesn't exist and is a conspiracy theory that gained particular traction with flat earthers that think the moon is simply a projection.
I have heard that from a flat earth friend.
So
What do you think?
I well, if it is a projection, we know they didn't go to the moon,
I mean, that's,
right?
yeah, yeah. Like, I can see you can make that leap from that. Yeah.
But oh man, I mean, if it is, we've all been fooled. We've all been fooled this whole time.
Yep.
This one, number 12 on their list, is one of my favorites, actually. I know I've said that before, but this one really gets me because I think about it almost every day. We're all living in the Matrix.
Right.
I think about that more often than a healthy person should.
You think so?
Yeah. Yeah, I think about it a lot. And well, you and I talked about it just what recently
Yeah.
about, when you shut your live off, do those people really exist?
I
You
don't
know,
know if they do or not. They just disappear.
when
Gone.
people aren't watching the podcast here, do we exist? Who knows? Who knows? Maybe we only exist to certain people that we interact with. I don't know. It's
Reach in our
crazy.
own simulation.
Well, they talk about like the glitch in the Matrix, when and I'm assuming everyone in here has watched the Matrix where the cat goes by and then they like, was it the same? I thought I saw a cat. And then there was another one just like it. Was it just like it or was it the same cat? And then they say it's a glitch that happens when they change something. That's when
Like the videos of the birds just stuck in the air.
that is weird. Or the airplane that just flies and it just stops.
Yeah.
And people just driving their cars be like, look, the plane has stopped. What do you think about the one where the lady's driving? I think it's a couple and they're driving along the lake and the water's flowing and everything. And then it when they're driving, it looks like it's still perfectly still. And then they stop and the water starts moving again.
I don't think I've
Have you
seen
seen
that.
that one?
I don't think so.
You haven't seen that one?
I'm going to find
All
that
right.
one.
Well, how about this one? The video where, uh, they're driving down the street and they see this huge ass building at the end around the corner. And then as they get closer, it shrinks and shrinks and shrinks and gets further away.
I haven't seen
Have you
that
seen that
one.
one?
No.
Oh man.
Man, where
You
have I been?
I don't know. I don't know.
Watching the right YouTube shit, apparently.
Apparently. Uh Number 11, the Nazis have a secret base in Antarctica. I think
Believe.
we all have bases there. I think damn near every nation, every big nation has a base on Antarctica.
And they have
And
bases in South America too.
there's lots of secrets there. You know what I mean? I think
Yeah.
there's lots of secrets there. That's
What
why
the,
nobody can go near it.
we'll have to do a whole podcast on Antarctica. I think that'd be a fun one.
We could. And then yeah, they're should I just skip their number one conspiracy is
It is.
the moon landing being fake. And that's their number one. And they give reasons as the shadows aren't lining up the way they should be. There's like the wind isn't working the same way it should, et cetera, et cetera.
There's no
There's
wind on the moon.
I don't know.
Well, I do know there's no wind on the moon.
Well, have you been there?
Maybe.
You have not been to the moon. I know you haven't. Nobody has. I feel the eye rolls through the screen. I can feel them.
Oh, I bet there's some in the chat that agree with you. Like I said, it's a bigger amount of people that don't believe in the moon landing than I ever thought would be possible. There's a lot
And
of
it's
people.
not that I don't believe, because we very well could have. But I also think, anything's possible, you
Well, I
know?
mean, anything's possible.
I mean, is it likely that we flew to the moon and walked and grabbed samples and flew back home? Or is it more believable that the government wanted to beat Russia and made it all up and
It's
shot it
compelling.
to fool a nation?
It's
It's hard to
compelling,
say.
but was it Japan or China? One of those countries has something orbiting the moon that took pictures of like where we landed at, and the rover's still there.
Hmm.
And I don't think any other country would try to hide our secrets like that.
Unless they had an alien trade agreement.
Unless they had an alien trade agreement. Hard to argue with that.
You ever talk so much that you're like, that people are like, this guy is full of shit?
And that's just the life of a conspiracy theorist, isn't it?
You know?
You
How,
just got to be used to that.
how about this one? How about this conspiracy theory? COVID-19 was engineered by the media.
Oh no, I think it was engineered in the lab though.
It was engineered to control the population.
I mean, I could go into what I think about it and the election, but I think it was kind of suspicious. I got my own thoughts on that, but I don't want to get taken out by the satellite that's circling above my head.
Yeah. How about the Earth has been sucked into a black hole?
I mean, it's possible, I guess. Unlikely, but very possible.
Um, they mention in the article that the the CERN discovery of the God particle in 2012 was part of the problem. Excuse me. It created a black hole,
I'm
and
into
that's the one
that.
that the Earth. Then that's the one that the Earth was sucked into.
And that's why the Mayan calendar ended in 2012.
Hmm. But are we? Did now? Here's a question for you. Do you believe that it ended in 2012, or do you think that we are still going? Like, because there's parts of me that are like, well, maybe we're both right. And we are living in a matrix right now, and it did end in 2012. And now everything is either a recreation or it's a thought that a dream, perhaps, that we're all in. Or maybe this is my dream and you
Well,
have
you
your own
dreaming
dream.
about me.
Oh man, why'd you gotta take it there?
Somebody had to.
Oh,
I think on that one, like the one I buy into the most, not buy into, but find the most interesting is that in 2012, CERN did something that either destroyed the Earth through a black hole or something else. And it actually just kind of transported us into a new universe and combined us with a different Earth. And that's what a lot of the Mandela effect people believe happened, is why there is Mandela
Yep.
effects, which I
Well,
find it interesting. I don't think it happened, but I find it interesting.
well, see, well, you're awful quick to dismiss it. Um,
Not
I think
quick. I've been looking at it for years.
I think something happened. Like I think something happened that we couldn't comprehend
Something
as a
seems to have changed in 2012.
right. Something
Just
happened.
don't
I
know
don't
what
know
it
what it
is.
was. I
I don't
don't
either.
know.
I'm not ready to blame
I think
CERN for it.
I think well, I mean, if you're gonna blame something, I mean that's
I
pretty
mean,
good one to blame. You know.
it's a good
All
one to
right.
blame. It's a good one to blame. Let's just
Yeah.
blame NASA like the flat earthers.
I'm pretty sure NASA's some pretty shady guys there. You know. I'm
Probably a
I'm
couple of them.
I'm sure
Definitely.
they definitely don't tell us everything. That's for damn sure.
I wouldn't tell
Um,
humans everything either. Look how dumb we act.
did you ever hear the comedian who goes, there's people that think it's really bad that NASA doesn't tell us everything and the government hides secrets from us. And he goes, I got 2 kids. I lie to those fuckers all the time. He goes, I
That
just
makes
laugh.
sense. That
I
makes
like,
sense
there's billions of people, I lie to my kids all the time. He goes,
all the time, he said.
and I'm only in charge of 2 of them. Funny. I thought it was hilarious. Let's move on to the next one. All right, you know about the movie that Disney made called Frozen, right?
I've never seen it, but I've heard about it.
But you know there's a movie that was created by Disney that was called Frozen.
Yep, with a
And
song.
yeah, that's where the song came from. So what they're saying is that the whole movie Frozen was a I'm trying to see how they worded it. It was a distraction to keep people from Googling that Walt Disney is frozen
I think we talked
because
about that when we had that on the podcast.
they're not saying that he's not frozen, but I should say they are. They're kind of denying it, but there's a lot of conspiracy theories or theorists that believe that the whole movie was created to mess with the algorithm. So when people look up Walt Disney pops up movie stuff.
I don't know about that one. They say he's buried in
Hey,
a park.
it's gotta be pretty popular because it was made number 5 on Esquire's list. Made number 5. How about the Denver International Airport? The Denver International Airport, apparently, according to theorists, is the Illuminati's headquarters.
I mean, there's some very weird stuff about the Denver airport. Like that
Um,
horse
I
out front.
I always heard that they keep aliens in tunnels underneath it.
Well, I know they got a huge complex of tunnels, and there's some places where like big trucks could drive in underground, and the public's not allowed there.
Hmm. Um, they actually the airport. They say that the airport has embraced these rumors, and they poke fun at it.
Have you ever seen the paintings on the walls in there?
Somebody,
They're
I think I
horrifying.
did, but I can't remember what they're
Like
of.
Holocaust type shit.
Why would they put that on the walls of the airport?
Fucking no. I didn't design the place. Look it up sometime. They're
Holocaust stuff, or
like
because that,
Holocaust stuff. It's creepy. It's
or
not
is
right.
it more like end of the earth type of stuff?
I mean, I don't remember now. I'll try to throw some of the pictures up for the
Hmm.
premiere. But I remember looking at them when this conspiracy first started, and they're weird pictures. There's no doubt about it. They're very strange.
Apparently, lizard people live underneath the Denver International Airport.
I buy that Eminem. Queen Elizabeth's probably there now.
You think Eminem's a lizard?
Either that or he's cloned, one of the two.
Oh, I would believe that he's cloned before I believe that he's a lizard.
Well, see, what I think is instead of like cloning a person from the ground up, they just give the reptilian the ability to pretty much be that person, like a mask on or whatever.
Hmm. Hmm. So apparently the Earth is hollow.
I love that theory,
That's
but no.
number 7. Have you heard this one?
Oh yeah, it's interesting.
They says scientists release new unknown findings about the Earth's core, and let's just say conspiracy theorists took and ran with it after learning that we don't know much about the surface of the Earth and what lies beneath the layers. The hollow Earth theory is what it's called. Apparently, gained traction. Some believers think there's an Earth inside of Earth.
Yeah, it's got its own sun and moon and everything.
That's crazy. So you have heard of that one?
Oh yeah, when I was a kid, I remember reading about that one. You can get
Uh,
into there from the North Pole, I believe.
or maybe Antarctica.
Probably Antarctica too.
That's why there's so many bases down there and so many they don't let us down there. Hmm. Did you ever see the guys who search Google Earth and they like zoom in on the like craziest shit?
Yeah, I've seen a few of those.
There's one that I saw. This was probably whoa, 2 years ago now, but he zooms in on Antarctica and he zooms way in and there's like this giant um what looks like, and I'm gonna say wall of ice, but I don't mean the flat earth wall of ice. I mean it was just a big chunk of ice that looked like a wall, okay?
All right.
And he zoomed into the other side of it, and there was like a tropical area. Like it
Yeah,
went into the building. He zoomed in and you could see in the building, down the hallway and out the window, and there was sun shining and plants out there
I think I might have seen
and
that before.
trees and stuff. And I'm like, what the hell?
Like an oasis.
Yeah. Uh, did you know Prince Charles is a vampire?
He
Well,
would be a goofy looking vampire.
he would be a goofy lair. Let me hold this up.
That's not what I think of when I think of Count Dracula. I mean,
No,
maybe that's his spill though. Like,
but
got us all fooled.
get this, he's related to Vlad the Impaler.
All them royal people are related.
He's related to Vlad. And those of you who don't know, Vlad the Impaler was the inspiration for Bram Stoker's Dracula. Uh, he was just a crazy guy. I mean, he would just, well, how do I explain? He would chop his enemies' heads off and put them on a stick. He was very
Sometimes their
gruesome.
whole bodies.
Uh, let's see. Many royals in Charles's bloodline were known to have the disease porphyria, which is an iron deficiency that causes people to be sensitive to sunlight.
It's almost a vampire, I guess.
So, related to Vlad, has sunlight issues. I mean, is royalty. I mean, you never know. Could be.
You never know.
Could be.
I'm not willing to say that's not true.
Um, so that's pretty much all the conspiracy theories that I wanted to go across tonight. But uh I mean, what did you dig up for us tonight, Ray?
First up is what's called the Lake Michigan Triangle, which
Ooh,
seems to
Lake Michigan.
be pretty close to you.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly where you live, but the triangle stretches from Ludington to Benton Harbor, Michigan, and to, I'm going to screw this up, Manitowoc.
Man, Manitowoc,
Manitowoc,
Manitowoc.
Wisconsin.
Manitowoc is actually just over an hour drive for me from
So you're
here.
not very far away. Don't go get lost in this triangle because there's like boats,
Hmm.
airplanes, people, just all kinds of shit happening in this area. And it could just be, there's bad weather at the lakes. I've never been there, so I don't know.
So, do you have some examples of what has happened in the Lake Michigan Triangle?
Yeah, one of the more mysterious cases is called Rosabelle, and there was 11 people in this ship. And when people the next day found their ship, it was found overturned and just floating, and no, they couldn't find anybody. And the crazy thing about the ship is that's not the first time that pretty much the same incident happened. Like it was out one other time, and everybody was missing, and it looked like maybe it collided with something, but no other boat reported any damage, or there was no other missing people, just the crew of that boat.
Hmm.
There was a pretty big airplane wreck there. At the time, it was the most deadly airplane incident in the United States. I'm trying to find it here. Hold on. I want to say 58 people passed away on that one. But they were flying from New York to Minneapolis. And as he got towards the lakes, it was storming. So between him and traffic control, he kind of kept dropping below some storms. And then the last time anybody seen anything of him, he asked for permission to go even lower.
Mhm.
Mission control. The radar people. What do you call the people at the airport? Why can I not think of it?
Traffic controller?
Traffic
No.
control. Yeah, that's it. So they never answered him on that one. And then some people on the ground reported seeing an airplane flying low and kind of weird. And obviously, they never arrived to where they're going. And they found an oil streak and some debris, including human remains, wash up, but nothing bigger than like the size of your hand was the biggest piece of debris they found. So they have
Wow.
no idea what really happened to this plane. I'm guessing something happened in the storm and it
So if they
water
hit,
going real fast.
if they hit the water and nothing happened or nothing survived over the size of a hand, they must have hit pretty hard.
Right. It was called NWA Flight 2501,
NWA.
Northwest Orient Airlines. 58 people. And they've never found the plane, even with like sonar. So one guy thinks when they hit, they went into a real silty part of the lakes and just pretty much sunk down into the mud, and we'll never be able to find them.
I'm really trying to be sensitive, but you brought up NWA, and that's all I can think now. Is NWA has a airline now? Anyway,
um,
I'm trying so hard to be sensitive about it, but yeah. Anyways, so then, how long ago did that happen? Do you know?
yeah, hold on here a second. I think I go back to the top. I think
Don't
it
worry,
was
I'll wait.
okay. Good. June 23rd, 1950.
Oh, so it was a while ago.
Yes.
Let's see. Yeah. So I was just becoming an adult back in 1950.
Damn you old.
Well, yeah.
um,
Any more examples of the what is it then? What do they call that? The Michigan Triangle?
the Lake Michigan Triangle. And I'll throw a
Lake
picture
Michigan
up
Triangle.
on the podcast, but
I wonder how close that triangle actually gets to me.
I'll, I'll show you a picture. Wait, that's not where my camera's at. Hold on. Can you see it? Here's Milwaukee.
All right. So what's the upper left corner where it hits Wisconsin? What's the nearest city to that?
Oh, that was that weird name.
Manitowoc?
Yeah.
Okay, so technically I'm just over an hour from that corner of the triangle.
Yep. So be careful if you go up there.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want you to become missing.
Yeah, some people might.
And I tell you how far back this goes. In 1679, a boat called Le Griffon, they were loaded 12,000 pounds of fur and set sail for Lake Erie and disappeared, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's been a lot of theories about it. No, they haven't found it yet, so they don't have a clue what really happened to it. Some people think they just took off with the furs to make themselves rich. I mean, very possible.
Yeah, makes sense. So what was the name of that boat again?
Um, Le Griffon.
I just wanted to hear you say it again. I knew you
Le
were
Griffon.
struggling with it. Le Griffon?
Le Griffon.
Oh,
In 1891, two boats, schooners, which cool looking boats, the Thomas Hume and the Rouse Simmons. They were kind of following each other, and they ran into a storm. The one boat's like, "I'm going to turn around. This ain't good." The other boat continued on, and as you can imagine, we can't find the other boat and none of its crew. Um, I take that back. In 2006, they found the boat completely intact, 150 feet below the surface.
completely intact?
Completely intact. They had theorized that maybe it ran into another ship in the storm, but there's no damage to it. It's just sitting on the bottom of Lake Michigan.
Hmm, that's pretty weird.
Here's a name that'll chill you to the bone. George Donner. I don't know if he's related to the Donner Party, but he was on
Hmm.
a coal freighter. They picked up a bunch of coal in Erie, Pennsylvania, and then traveled west through the lakes bound for Port Washington, Wisconsin. I don't know if you know where that's at.
Yep, it's right by. It's not far from Milwaukee.
And then when they reached Lake Michigan, the captain says he's going to retire into his cabin, right? And he's like telling his crew, alert me once the ship gets near to the destination. So 3 hours later, they get close to Port Washington. They go to get the captain, and his door's locked from the inside.
Mm-hmm.
So they go looking for him all over the ship. They just figured he went and did something. Couldn't find him, so they broke into his room, and nobody was there. And they said he was too big to fit through the porthole windows.
So he just disappeared?
Yeah, just gone.
Hmm.
No sign of him was ever found.
That's weird.
So, have you ever heard of this place?
No. All I know is I believe Port Washington is down by Milwaukee, I think. But I'm not 100% sure, but I think it is. Might be like a suburb of Milwaukee or something. I don't know.
Did you grow up hearing stories about the triangle?
No, actually, the it's not really that big of a thing here.
Well,
Shockingly
that's
enough. Like
pretty
I
disappointing.
I just heard about this like not long ago, like this year was the first time I ever heard that there was a triangle up here.
Dang, and you know what's even crazier?
Hmm.
Up in it'd be the northeast corner of the triangle. They found like Stonehenge monument underneath the lake there from like 10,000 years ago, and a petroglyph of a mastodon rock drawing. That makes it a little more interesting, right?
Yeah.
Like, why is there Stonehenge underneath Lake Michigan?
Well, apparently there were people here 10,000 years ago.
Yeah, and it's on a ley line too. So what was really going on? You know what they say about ley lines, vortexes.
Uh I got it. not the, and I don't know how much you have to talk about that, but I got a few interesting questions I thought of. We toyed with the idea for the podcast to share some of the questionnaire that uh, my team had written up for new investigators that wanted to be part of the team.
Right.
And of course, as it turns out, that didn't pan out. It was something else, but I can't talk about that because every time I talk about that, Ray just cuts it out of the feed anyway.
I'll leave it in this time, I promise.
What I found was a questionnaire from uh, when I almost got onto the Ghost Hunters TV show, and it was the questionnaire. I filled it out digitally, but I printed out a physical copy of it. And that's what it is. So it's questions that you answer if you're looking to be on one of the professional TV shows. So I have that instead. But which led me to think, and it got me thinking, and actually Tina asked me, well, why don't you ask him this? And I said, yeah, that's a good idea. So
This
if you were
question
to,
comes from Tina. Thank you, Tina.
yep. So if you were to build a professional team, and I say professional as in the best team you could possibly put together paranormal wise, what type of people would you build? Like, how big would your team be? What type of people would you want on your team? And I'm not asking who, like names. I'm just saying, like, what type of people would you be looking for? Because I know in my mind the exact number of people and how many or what type of people I would want. But I want you to answer first, if you would.
That's a
Take.
pretty interesting question. I would think
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely want 4 investigators just so we could pair up if we wanted. I don't like people going off by themselves in some of the places we go to.
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably have a tech person,
Yep.
probably somebody with it. Just their job is to work with the cameras. Don't do nothing else. Don't say shit. Just do the camera.
Okay.
Mm, that'd
So
probably
that's
be it.
one. You got a tech person.
Yeah, that'd probably be it. So 6 people maybe at the most.
Well, you just said four and then you went six, but you only named one job.
Tech person
So,
and then the camera guy.
so you got a tech person, camera guy. What do
Yeah,
the other four do?
the other 4 investigators. The tech person is helping set up, monitoring the cameras while everybody else is investigating. Um, I see them as like one of the newer people that's trying to be an investigator. Sit there and watch for a little bit.
So you would just have basically four people that would do the same thing, and then you would have uh, a tech guy, and a camera guy.
Yep.
That's it. One camera guy.
Depends on what I'm doing, I suppose. If I needed
Okay.
to, like the investigator's going to have cameras too, but I think
Mm-hmm.
you have a better chance if you have somebody that's recording the, like how we do on TikTok is wherever the camera's pointing, that's what you're recording and seeing. Whereas if you had another person that's just recording the investigators, they might take a
Mm-hmm.
chance and catch that crap that we always miss off camera.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But if you take out the whole like recording for a TV show, I'm saying just like building for a team. Like what type of people would those four main people be? Like,
Hmm. They'd be skeptical a little bit, um,
mm-hmm.
serious. I don't mind joking around and stuff, but when I'm investigating, like I get irritated sometimes when people be joking around while I'm trying to investigate.
Yeah,
I hope it
yeah,
don't
it's
come through on the lives, but sometimes it
uh,
happens.
I think I feel like you're trying to push me a little bit to say something, but you don't do that.
I mean, I give looks better than I need to say anything. So
Yeah,
like if Katie
yeah.
and her nephew start acting up, I just give them the I'm working here.
Ah,
There's a time to
so
joke and there's a time to be
would you
serious.
would you like to hear about my hypothetical team I would build?
Of course, I already told you I wouldn't be allowed on it.
No, well, that's uh, if I didn't know you and didn't know what type of person you were and stuff, I would have a lot more questions. You know what I mean?
I don't
Because
blame you.
I know your beliefs. But I would build my team. I would have myself as, well, obviously I'm going to give myself the title of main investigator, lead investigator, because it's my team. But I would have a psychic medium, and that doesn't have to be the same person. Like I could have one psychic and one medium. And matter of fact, that's the way I would prefer it, because then they can focus more on their job. You know what I mean? So I would have a psychic, and then I would have a medium. And then you're a researcher. You need a researcher to do all of that. Look up the locations, scheduling your stuff like that. I would actually like to have a witch on the team. I believe that would come in very handy. Uh, and then I would probably have a few other investigators with me. Like you said, was I love the idea of being able to pair off. So if you're pairing off, then you need people to run cameras as well. So if you're not set up for stationary cameras, and as I really do like the idea of having mobile cameras that can follow you around, because then you catch all sorts of stuff that you normally don't. Because I mean, every investigator that's listening to this can agree that there's always stuff that happens just off camera.
Every
Always.
time. Every time.
And it's so annoying. And and you try to tell the audience or whoever's watching, hey, this just happened, and they're all like, yeah, okay, sure it did. Sure it did.
Right.
Cool story, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's, I mean,
How many you up
that's,
to then?
I'm not even sure. I kind of rambled on a little bit about, because I
Like
wasn't
6 or
thinking
7?
about camera guys. You know what I mean? At least 7, at least. But then you got to figure, you always have to add. Now, I've been on quite a few teams throughout my life, and including one of my own. Shout out Cool Touch Paranormal.
Cool Touch Paranormal.
Mm-hmm. But oh, where was I going with this? If psychic, a medium, few investigators, a researcher, then you also need somebody, probably 2 people, to just set everything up, set up the cameras, set up everything, make sure the place is set up for an investigation. If you need to clean out an area or sweep around, like, I won't mention any names, but there's definitely some places out there that need to be swept before they charge people to investigate.
That's the new people's jobs too.
Oh
Gotta
yeah,
earn your stripes.
that's the that's the bottom of the totem pole. Um,
Welcome to the team. Here's your broom.
yep, exactly. So, yeah, I would say you're definitely looking at, oh, not to mention, people don't always show up when you have an investigation. So you have to have more people than what you need, because people don't show up. Oh yeah, I'll be there, and then never show up. So you have to have, like I always say, you have to have at least a minimum of 3 people to be a decent investigation. So you can get 3 different perspectives.
That makes sense.
Um, Sometimes more is better. Sometimes more is too much, because you don't want too much. You don't want too many people.
Yeah,
Too
that's what I
many is
said
bad.
before.
I've been
Full
saying,
investigators.
you got to worry about interference noises. You got to worry about how every person's there. You got to be mindful of their stomach roaring, if they pass gas, or if they rustle their feet a little bit too much. Everything shows up.
And the one that annoys me, the loud talker.
Oh
Always
yes. Oh
screaming about fucking shit. Oh god.
yeah. Yeah, well, and then you got the opposite end of the spectrum, is you got the people that whisper like this. They you can Yeah, and and it's about nothing. It's like, hey, do you have a piece of gum? And I'm looking at them like, shut the up. Like
Yeah, I'm gonna do
your
that to you.
whispering is gonna sound like a EVP.
I'm gonna do that to you. I'm gonna be like, Brandon, do you have any gum?
It's like never whisper, never, ever, 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 never whisper
Ever,
in
ever.
an investigation. Never.
You need hand signals like SWAT and shit. Navy
Mm-hmm.
SEALs. Running like
Absolutely.
that.
So and if you were starting a team, what type of questions do you think you would ask to new people? Let's say some newbie off the street saw Ghost Adventures and saw that you were a paranormal investigator, and they're like, "Hey, can I join your team?" And you say, "Well, I've got some questions for you." What would you ask them?
I don't know if I'd ask anything like too specific in terms of what they believe in. I think I would
Okay.
be asking them more about just trying to get a feel with how they would mesh with not only myself, because that's extremely important, but with the rest of the team.
Mm-hmm.
Like if it's somebody that is already annoying me within 5 seconds of talking to them, I, you just can't do that to yourself. It'll be a bad ending.
Right. Right.
But sometimes you
So,
can't help it because they're friends.
well, I find that when I ask people questions dealing with spiritual questions or about the paranormal, it really gets you really get a good idea of who the people are and what kind of person they are.
Give me an example of a question you would ask.
Well, okay. Um, well, you can ask someone if they're religious or if they or sometimes I would throw out like just a random situation that might pop up. Let's say, okay, here's one of my favorite ones, and I'm sure you've heard me say this before. But all right, pretend you're a new person, right? Just new, you
Hi,
don't know a whole lot.
I'm a new person.
Hello, new person. Um, so if you were doing an investigation and it was a private investigation at a person's home, and there happened to be, let's say, a 5-year-old child there that lived there that was scared, and they came up to you and they said, and this is when you just get started, and they say, "Is there evil in my house? Are you here to help?" What do you say to them? What do you say, like, when they say, "Is there evil here?"
I mean, you're just starting the investigation. Like, first off, for a 5-year-old, I'd never tell them there was evil there, even if that's what I thought. Like, that's more let the parents deal with that shit. Like, no, I ain't telling them nothing like that. Just reassure them, be like, hey, I'm just here to figure out what's going on. There's a lot of natural things that could be happening. It's not necessarily ghosty.
That's a very good answer. That's better than a lot of answers that I've gotten throughout the years.
I might make the
Uh,
team.
maybe. But I've gotten weird answers. Like some people would be like, they're like, "Yeah, oh yeah, you've got something weird here, but we're gonna get rid of it for you, so don't worry." And I'm like, "Well, there's two strikes there. First of all, you don't tell the kid that there's something evil there right off the bat, and then you don't say, I'm gonna fix it right now, and
Like, I
everything's
don't
gonna be
even
fine."
know if I would tell a 16-year-old that there's something evil in their house. Like,
No.
that to me is just a parent. Let the parents deal with that if that's what you're
And
thinking.
I mean, I know that there's no 100% accurate answer to that question, but I will give you the answer that I always would say because it's
Um,
happened to me more than once when one of the kids have come up and said, "What are you doing here? And can you get rid of the evil monster in my closet?" That
how do
type of
you
thing.
answer? How do you answer?
I answer it like this. I said, "Well, people that love you got a hold of us because this is what we deal with. And we are here to do our very best to get rid of the problems that you're having. And we will do our best to make sure that you sleep well at night. And we will update your parents with what happens." And
I'm
that's
sure
about
you
it.
sometimes run into the little kid that is into the paranormal and not scared of the shit.
Oh,
I bet
sure.
that's a fun time.
It is. It's really weird and awkward when the kid wants to investigate with you.
I bet.
Like they want to be in on the team, you know? And there's a difference between allowing them to be in the circle, so to speak, versus just in the background watching.
What's the
It's a lot.
youngest you would let somebody do an Estes method with you?
Well, first of all, I don't do any Estes methods when I'm doing a private investigation.
Well, second of all, I'm not asking you that. I'm just
Well,
curious.
I was talking about kids at an investigation, and you jumped to some public bullshit. I'm like, no, you can't jump
That's
around
all
like
I
that.
know. I don't know the private stuff. It's all a
Uh,
different world to me.
uh, well, first of all, I think you should be minimum, even with a parent. Without a parent, you got to be 18, no matter what. Um,
That's smart.
if you are, and I know because I've held public events before. So what we did was we allowed 14 years old or over, but 14 to 18 or 14 through 17, you have to be with a parent or guardian. So the cutoff basically was 14. Nobody under 14 was allowed at any of the events. So 14 with a parent, 18 without.
So you're saying 18 if they want to be on your team. That's just a that's I mean
Yeah,
that's
no,
just, is that legal things? Like they're
there's
old enough to make
nobody
that choice.
nobody under 18 is going to be allowed to even apply for the team. And I'll go ahead and tell you, you may have heard me say this before, but the reason is because I don't want to be responsible for an attachment that follows them home and affects them the rest of their life. I don't want to be the person that they blame for that.
Now, do
Um,
you feel different about your own kids? Like, let's say your daughter at 16, 15 asks you if she can be on your team.
well, it's a mixed bag. My daughter is different because, well, my youngest daughter, Haley, she loves the whole paranormal ghost thing. She's had more real experiences with ghosts than a lot of paranormal investigators that I've met, that I know of. You know what I mean?
Has she ever investigated with you, or is she just not into that?
She has dabbled a little bit. We've done a few spirit box sessions in the house, at the old house.
Which is a very
And
active house.
yeah, it was super, super, super active. Probably second most active house I've ever been to. And I mean, I woke up one morning. I don't know if you remember this story or not, but I woke up at like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning and heard this growling sound from the living room, to the point where I didn't want to get out of bed. And
Like,
I
fuck
waited till
that.
light. Yeah, I was really tired. So I mean, I blame it on not being scared. I was just tired. Okay, just tired.
I got you. I
But
got you.
in the morning when the sun came up, I went out and looked, and I had six-fingered marks going across the ceiling
I
in
think I remember this.
what looked like black ash.
Did you have pictures?
I had a video. I put a video
That's
on
what it
TikTok.
was. I'm gonna have to go try to find that for the podcast. That was crazy. I
So
remember that.
yeah.
Was that
Um.
was that shortly after you got Adam? I have to go
Oh,
back and look.
now that you say that, it might have been. I'm not sure. I'm
Maybe
not
that's
even
why I
sure.
don't like Adam because he pulled
Oh,
that kind of shit.
it was after I got Adam because it was about, I want to say it was a less than 6 months before I moved out of that house and moved here.
I'll try to find it for y'all. If not, just go search through his videos from like when did you move?
Uh,
21, 22.
I moved in 21. End of April 21 was when I moved. So it was before that.
I'll try to find it. If not, you're gonna have to go way back on Brandon's account because he's got 2 million videos.
I've got like 782 videos, maybe 84, something
It's a
like
lot.
that.
I got a
Maybe,
lot too, but not that many.
yeah. Well, yeah.
So what else would you ask somebody that's
What else would I ask people that? Well, I would get into what they believe in, and the reason I would ask people what they believe in is because then I kind of get a feeling for. I try to align that. Let me back that up. I ask them what they believe in because that sets it up for their answers that I ask them later when it's time, when the shit hits the fan. If they say, "Whoa, everything is a demon," and then I ask them later on, "Well, what was that noise? What do you think it was?" And they scream out, "It was a demon for sure." Then I'll know that you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Everything's a demon to you. You know what
So
I
that
mean?
wouldn't be a person on your team, definitely.
No, he wouldn't last long. No, that's for sure. But I would ask them, obviously if they've had any experience, and everybody has. Everybody who I've never had an applicant tell me, no, I've never had an experience. You know, they all say, well, when I was a kid, this and this happened, or my grandma lived in a haunted house, or my neighbor down the street, we would walk past and we'd be scared to go up to it, and I saw something in the window. You get stories like that a lot, and some of the story. Oh, I didn't even. I can't even start telling you about the stories that people used to call me with to get me to come out to their house. Oh, just the amount of demons that they think they got is just crazy. Everybody thinks they got a demon, and it's
They watch too much
no.
Ghost Adventures.
Yeah, exactly. No, you don't. You don't have a demon. Because here's the thing. This is one of my favorite phrases, and this isn't my phrase. Okay, this is something that I've been saying forever. All right. This is if you have to ask me if you have a demon in your house, I assure you, you
Mhm.
don't.
You don't have a demon.
You do not.
Now, would you say more times than not, like, do you find more natural things going on at somebody's house? Is it, more supernatural, about even? Like, if
Well,
you went to 20 houses, how
right.
many would be actual what you would call supernatural stuff going on?
Well, supernatural. There
Paranormal, what?
we're getting into we're crossing lines here. I would say paranormal wise, I would say out of 20 houses, you're gonna get something from probably 14 or 15. And the
Okay. How many of those
and
would you say your house is haunted?
5,
That's a higher number
4,
than I would have thought, really.
4 or 5 maybe.
But I
Well,
guess
you
if
got
they're
to
calling
remember,
you, some shit's happening anyway.
well, yeah, there's a reason they're calling us. Okay, so there's a reason that they're calling us. Um, and sometimes you're gonna get people that just want to tell their neighbors that they had a paranormal team in their house
A ghost
and nothing
was
more.
at my house.
Exactly. And that actually has happened since TikTok.
Are you serious?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I had somebody come out
How pissed
and
did you
they
get?
they messaged me on TikTok, and they even had a friend of theirs that I actually knew, and they said, "Hey, so and so found you on TikTok and they got a haunted house and they want you to go check it out." And at the time I thought, "Well, that's perfect, it couldn't worked out any better." So, we go there. We do our initial investigation, and an initial investigation usually lasts about a couple hours, okay? So when you're doing somebody's house, you go out, you do a couple hours initial investigation, and that's where you get the background story. You talk to the owner, you get what happened, you take your notes for that, and you kind of walk around, get a feeling for the place, and if you want, you start, trying to communicate. Then you go back, usually the next night or even a few nights later, depending on the scheduling, and that's when you bring the team and you got everybody there and everybody's locked and loaded and ready to go. And then usually spend, and everyone varies, but I never spend less than 3 hours at an investigation. And the short ones, if I'm only there for 3 hours, that means I didn't get shit. There's nothing there,
You got bored.
like nothing. We got bored.
Go home.
If we're only there 3 hours, don't expect a lot of evidence to come back. You know what I mean? But you got to give it a little bit of time. You can't just go there for an hour, get bored and leave. You got to give it a little time. And I feel guilty even saying leaving after 3 hours because that's really not that long. But
What's the longest investigation you've been on continuous?
14 hours straight.
Was there crazy stuff going on?
Yeah, I wouldn't have been there for 14 hours if there wasn't.
Well, I didn't know if it's one of them where some stuff happens and you wait 5 hours and some stuff
Oh,
happens.
that's every investigation.
Right.
Every investigation, you'll get something that gets you to stay for another hour or two.
Yep.
You'll just get that one little what was that? And it'll make you stay there just to see what else happens. And contrary to popular belief, private investigations are nothing like your TikTok versions. We'll go there and we'll sit for hours on end and get little to nothing. You know what I mean? But then you go back and you review all your recordings, and that's when you get your EVP messages. That's when you get your recording. And listen, when you guys run a spirit box, always record your spirit box sessions and then play them back on 0.5. Play it back on
Slow
0.5
down.
so it slows it down. Because I'm telling you, the things that sound like that come through the spirit box, when you slow them down, they will be intelligent answers. Like, for instance, I think it's been long enough. I can say I investigated in the basement of my insurance agent's place, this public building. And we were down there and we were doing a spirit box session, excuse me. And there was a lot of blurps, but they were weird blurps. But one in particular, as I slowed it down, I think I actually slowed it down to 0.3 or 0.4. But I asked, what color is this this light? What color is this light that I'm shining on the wall here? And immediately it just and then I slowed it way down and clear as hell, red, clear. And
That's interesting.
I played that for the guy. And of course it was a red light. It was a red grid light. Matter of fact, you know all about that goddamn red grid light. Yeah.
I
The
might
one
know
you
a little
borrowed from me
something.
for a year and a half and
Um,
finally sent back.
I got no excuse.
Yeah. You had it at least a year and a half. Might have been longer than that.
I don't think it was longer than that.
I'm pretty sure it was.
All right. Well, we're almost at the hour, so let me ask you a question I would ask
Okay.
somebody. Let's say I'm doing a private investigation. You want to come with me? Would you
Okay.
pull out an app on a private investigation?
Oh, this is gonna get me in trouble. If I'm on a private investigation, you'll never see me use an app. Never.
I would be embarrassed.
Never
I don't know
ever.
why, but I would be embarrassed.
There is no way in hell. What you will see is you'll see a lot of digital voice recorder. You'll see or EVP bursts. And so what you would do. All right, God, I'm letting out some of my secrets here. But when I do a private investigation, I bring at least two recorders, usually more. But you got to have two, because one, you leave recording the whole time, and you move it around, but it's recording the whole time. And you leave that next to your spirit box or in an area where you're just talking. You record all of that. Okay. Everything goes on that one. Everything is recorded. Then you got your other recorder that you use for burst sessions. And a burst session is hit record, ask your question, make your statement, do whatever, and then listen. And then you hit the record button again after a while, and then you listen to it right away on site. That way you can react to what you hear and play off of that. So because if you just have the one recorder and you let it play the whole time, you're not going to hear nothing until you go over the whole thing. And by that time, you've been home for days already. You missed out on some prime opportunity. So that's why I always push for two recorders so that you can do the burst sessions. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I only got one recorder.
You're
Might
gonna
have
have to
to
get
get
another
another
one.
one. Yo,
Yeah,
time to go
yeah.
shopping.
So I've said this before, but private investigations mean so much more, to everybody involved than just going to some place that might be haunted and, you know, doing whatever you want,
Right.
you
I'm
know.
excited to get to on my first one if it ever happens.
Well, you know, I don't know if I'm going to make it to Nebraska this year or not, but the next time I come down, you'll have to set one up, and
I'm trying. I'm gonna
I'll,
put some
I'll go
stuff out on Facebook.
and I'll go with you,
That'd be
and we'll get
awesome.
her
I don't
done.
really want to do it by myself and make a jackass of myself. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, you're not going to make a jackass of yourself because people do them all the time. Um, and they just do whatever they want. I've seen people air private investigations on live, and I cringe when I see that. I just Because even just by you recording yourself, you knowing that you're being recorded and watched like that by an audience changes the way you investigate. It alters your mind so that you're not thinking right and you're not on the same level that you would be if you didn't have that audience. If you can't focus correctly, you can't like when I investigate, I try to get on the mindset of the people that I'm trying to communicate with. So if there's a spirit there, I try to like mentally get into that same level, like this, and it energy wise, and it's hard to explain, but people who do it will know what I'm talking about. you
It
you
makes
try to
sense.
get on that same mind level as the spirits that are there, so it's easier to relate. And I think the tone of your voice, the pitch of your voice, the affects whether you're going to get answers or not. And I believe that some people's mindset and voice is the secret combination to getting real evidence and getting real responses. And it's it's a mixture of your voice tone, your intent, big time, um, and what you may or may not have brought with you to the investigation as far as attachments. So all of that comes into play. And then you have to throw in the idea that this family is scared out of their wits and they don't want to sleep there tonight because they're terrified, their kids are terrified, the dog won't go in the room, and they're looking at you like, help me. Okay? You can't
That'd
just
be
throw
crazy.
any you can't just throw any asshole with a REM pod in there to fix that problem. You know what I mean? You got to have somebody who's level on the same level.
Makes sense.
I mean, I know I don't give a fuck. I don't care how I sound. I'm telling the truth.
I mean, to me, it just sounds like you're real passionate about it and you're
Well,
helpful. Like, I know there's a lot of people that have probably learned from you. I know I'm one of them. Learned how to
well,
do both.
and if I can't, I guess it's an honor to be able to have people tell me that they've learned from me. I love that. I love that so much. That's like, that's better than getting paid. You know what I mean?
Well, good, because I can't pay you.
Well, you could. You're just cheap.
Ah, same thing.
Ah. So, so
All
that
right,
being
man.
said, I don't know. Are we wrapping it up? Should we wrap it up for tonight?
Yeah, happy Sweet 16.
Sweet 16. Thank you to everybody for coming in. This was pretty fun. I hope you enjoyed the conspiracy theories, and I hope you stuck around for the ghost talk at the end. I think that was probably my favorite part. Um, but again, join us every week. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that like button right now if you haven't hit it so far. We're here every Wednesday at 8 o'clock. Paranormal Watchtower. You'll see my face. You'll see Ray's pretty face. Well, you never know what color hair he's going to have. So join us there. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night. Ray,
Hey,
see
it
you
was
later,
a
man.
blast, man. I'm glad we got to do this tonight.
It was fun. It was fun.
I
Happy
like
Sweet
hearing your
16.
stories. Happy Sweet 16 to you. Too bad we didn't get your princess crown on.
Well, we thought about wearing. I told him I wanted to get like tiaras for the Sweet 16, but he wasn't digging it. He wasn't digging it. But
I can't mar up this beautiful face with a tiara on my head.
well, it would have been funny. They would have enjoyed that.
That would have been a blast, but it's hard to find tiaras on a Sunday.
Yeah, dollar store. But
I'll go
all
look.
right, you got any closing thoughts before we go?
I don't think so. I'm I'm kind of excited about what we talked about for the next podcast. Y'all have to find out a little bit about that.
You're gonna like that.
We'll probably be
see.
bringing another guest on soon, so stay tuned for all that. I hope you guys continue to support us. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. So that's all we got. Until next week. See ya.